So I've been thinking about it, and I think that Moon Knight might actually be the best Marvel series, and it actually has the perfect amount of episodes. And I don't really remember what we were talking about a couple minutes ago. Things are a little bit hazy.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
fuzzy,
yeah,
but I'm also
this is
old. This
interesting.
happens to me a lot. This happens to me quite. I'll wake up in the morning and it's, I don't know who I am. That can't be. That's probably not healthy. I don't think it's healthy.
I'm not sure that that is. So basically, we've been here this whole time just waiting while the mouse decided our fate, and it turns out we're okay. So we're still allowed to be here. And
Mm.
I guess in that case, this is season 2, episode 2 of Have You Seen This? We're back.
So
uh,
for
for now.
now,
Yeah,
on we're guys, we're walking a pretty tight rope here. Thanks,
yeah,
Daniel.
we're back pending what we say about episode 3, essentially. No. uh, so we've got a little bit of news today. We've got a little bit of television shows that we've been watching here and there.
Mhm.
Uh, and then no big main topic, a little bit of a shorter episode today. Our producer, Ben, in the back, has a bit of a hard out, as well as I need to get to work. So,
Show off.
uh, you know, we'll
What a
we'll
bragger.
uh we'll jump right into that in just a second. But first, we gotta ask, how's it going, Rob?
Oh, it's going just fine. How's it going with you? So, okay. So last week, my big birthday episode extravaganza, welcoming back season 2, and like 2 days later, we got a goddamn blizzard here. Like in the middle, like I see some people complain, "Oh, look, we got snowflakes in here in New England or whatever." It's
Mm.
you know late April. It's like we got a goddamn blizzard. There was a blizzard here. There was a friggin' blizzard. It wasn't, but in typical Winnipeg, Manitoba fashion, uh, we only got about a foot of snow, and people were complaining that we only got a foot. Saying, "You damn bastards! You guys are just tempting fate. You're tempting fate.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we were almost
I've
through this."
I've definitely been there over here in Quebec. Like, and whenever you see people complaining that you didn't get enough snow, it's just like, no, never,
Yeah,
never complain about that.
it's uncool. It is far from cool. I can tell you that.
Yeah, we got a little bit of the tail end of your blizzard there
Lucky.
over last night. Yeah, it honestly it's been annoying, but nowhere near as bad as what you guys had.
It wasn't
We
bad.
had the only difference is like we had really like wet snow, and
Hmm.
so everybody was sliding all over the place because there was a lot of rain as well, but it was just cold enough to start freezing everything. And so everyone's sliding over all over the place because it's just late enough for everyone to have changed their tires.
Everyone over here has an idea that nobody out east knows how to drive in the winter, anyways. So it's unsurprising. But
Hey,
it was a thick, heavy snow here. It was
in
yeah.
Quebec, we don't know how to drive, but we do know how to put like proper road vehicles. Like, I mean,
Like
we
snow
we
again.
have some really bad ones, but tires is one thing we take seriously. It's
Oh
winters
yeah.
or 4 seasons. We're not even allowed summers. Yeah, that's actually a thing here. Nobody drives on
That's
summer
not so
tires.
great. That isn't great. Yeah, winter. Yeah, winter tires in the summer not ideal.
No,
It's the
no,
best
four
off there.
seasons in the summer.
Yeah, and even those ones.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, but you guys can get away with it. You guys don't get quite as cold. So yeah, you can get away with it a little bit. Here it's just it's too cold. It is too cold, and it's too hot in the
Mm.
in the summertime. So you have to watch out for your tires in goddamn Manitoba. So
Mhm.
that's why it costs a lot less to live here because you have to buy stupid things like tires all the time.
Everybody's gotta pay for that salt, you know?
Welcome back to Have You Seen This AccuWeather edition with
Absolutely.
Daniel and the Snark.
Well, I did say we were going to get into the news, but
That's
let's
true.
get into some television news now. Um,
All right.
as as our title alludes to, this wasn't Disney canceling us for crapping on Moon Knight. This is actually us saying goodbye to a couple of one television series and one television series star and showrunner. So, the first story I have is the last season of Better Call Saul starts up. It started, I believe, yesterday was the
Hmm.
first episode, maybe the first couple. And that I actually have not been keeping up with it in the longest time, but I was actually really excited for a Better Call Saul series, and I really liked Bob Odenkirk's Saul, and I don't know why I never really watched the whole thing. I guess after watching, it was 6 years because that last season was broken up almost. So it was like 6 whole years of watching Breaking Bad, and there's a lot of fatigue that goes into watching a show like that, as good as it is.
The next episode I watch for Better Call Saul will be the first episode I've watched of Better Call Saul. I still have I've never seen a frame of it, but I'd never watched Breaking Bad. That was one that I just
Really?
never watched. Yeah,
Mm,
so that was always my thing. It's like, if how could I start watching? Like, I was at the point where everyone's like, "Oh, Breaking Saul's coming," or Better Call Saul's coming out. So like, I never climbed aboard Breaking Bad. It's like, should I just start with its prequel and then watch it? And then for reasons, I don't know. It's like, no, nothing specific. Not like I had anything against Better Call Saul. I just never started watching it, and then all of a sudden it got into like the season 3 and stuff like that. So it's like, there's the same thing about Breaking Bad. I have to start catching up on all kinds of episodes just to catch up, and all,
mm.
it's not going to be quite the same. So I think that'll be a thing. One day I'll sit down and I'll watch Breaking Bad. One day I will sit down and I'll watch Better Call Saul, but it won't be this day. It won't be tomorrow. It'll be sometime, but uh, the, and so many people love the show, and so many people say it's such a great show, like in their top 5 favorites and stuff like that. But just there's just something about it that never hooked me, and
Yeah, and
it was
also,
a crystal
I
meth joke. That was a crystal meth joke.
also I gotta say, like, there are so many top five shows out there that,
That's true.
like, eventually you just don't have the time to watch all of them because you will you'll never find your own top five shows watching everybody else's.
Very philosophical of you.
Yeah, yeah. I do that occasionally.
How dare you?
Like once every like 3 blue moons.
Uh,
Um
hmm, okay,
and then
that's an odd amount of time.
yeah, the 3 blue moons.
Sure.
So you got to find 2 full moons in the same month. Count 3 separate occasions of that, and then I'll have some wisdom for you.
Holy
But
shit.
between that, phew, don't ask me for advice.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how time works. All right.
uh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those shows that like I definitely need to watch. But even that list of shows is getting so long these days. And then I just, sit down and watch Community for the 90th time instead.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
it's so easy to do that.
I know I should be watching this. I know I should be watching that. I know I should be watching all of these things. But I'll always just turn it on to a British panel show when I go to bed every night.
Mm.
That's all I want to watch, or a British game show. Well, and with the stupidest questions, like asking about who was the shadow chancellor for John Major's government in 1992. It's like, how the fuck would anybody else ever know that stuff?
Right?
You know, I'll still throw out a guess. I'll think of some of the most English names I can.
It was obviously John Quincy. If it
Gross.
wasn't John Quincy, I'll eat my shoe.
Jesus Christ. Bad news for you.
It wasn't John
Actually,
Quincy.
I couldn't prove it wasn't. You might be right. I think your shoe is
Um,
safe.
nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, for our other goodbye,
Hmm.
which is, imminent. It's not here yet. We have one more episode. Um,
Hmm.
and also, this was a really fun episode when I watched it and read about it. Um, I looked into the episode before I had seen it and found out that the villain in this Doctor Who episode is actually a really old one from the classic series that I haven't
Hmm.
seen. And um, also, yeah, whole thing. Um, I was actually disappointed to not see and I don't want to mispronounce this because 50 will come for me. I don't
Mm.
know if it's Silurians or Silurians. hmm. Which one do I want to go with? It's a 50-50 shot here.
Just mumble
Uh,
it. Like pretend you're
yeah,
coughing when you say it. That
Silurians.
always works.
Yeah. Anyway, the reptile people uh,
How dare
are
you?
also,
Well,
again, they're the people who
aren't
they're
they more
they're from
fishy?
Earth, I guess.
Aren't they more fishy more than anything?
Well, in today's episode, we're the fish ones, and then there are the reptile ones, and then
Mm,
the humans, and those are
right.
the three people who are from Earth in the Doctor Who universe.
The land
Uh,
parasites.
yeah, this was actually a really fun episode. I I I had fun looking up and finding out about what the Sea Devils were and where like the whole uh, story comes from, and then also to have them like come back in New Who is also very fun.
Hmm.
And I also, yeah, for a second to last episode with the Doctor, there is like quite a few of those foreshadowings. You can see a goodbye coming. You can see where, like, even though it's like not happened to them health wise, because very often the Doctor does get mortally wounded in the last few episodes and spends those last few like on death's door at any moment about to regenerate. But this time it's a lot more subtle, and I do enjoy it. Like there's a fear of unknown in the Doctor since the last things that have happened in season 13 here.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's very fun to watch like a different form of goodbye.
Yeah. I was gonna say this isn't like Matt Smith's. Isn't it Matt Smith that kept on teasing the regeneration through a few episodes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to come to a head just in one. Capaldi's is kind of the same as this, I think.
Also,
Um,
like Matt Smith was like prophesized to die on the planet that he goes to, like 4 episodes before the last one of that season. So
yeah.
he's just hanging out there, just threatening a bunch of aliens.
Do you think that this episode answered the will they, won't they thing with Yaz when they have that conversation near the end?
I think it did. I don't think I think there will be one more big moment of it in the next episode, obviously.
Hmm.
But I do think that basically I think Yaz is going to learn that lesson that like Rose learned for the better, and I think Yaz is going to learn for the worse.
Right.
Of that, like the Doctor does change, and sometimes they change for you, but sometimes, and in this case, as Jodie's Doctor has literally went through the biggest identity crisis any Doctor has gone through so far, learning about the Timeless Child and about how they're spoilers, huge spoilers. not even from this universe, and all of that shit. I have actually really enjoyed that. I liked how short this season was because of how much they were able to deliver on a big grand story. They also threw in a bunch of cool like monster of the week aliens in every single episode, while tying them all to the overarching thing. And
Right.
I mean, they made the angels even more powerful and literally changed their lore for the 80th time in their 80th episode. But like
Yeah.
that's a whole
In the
other
last
thing.
3 years or whatever, 4 seasons, they keep.
At
Yeah.
this Yeah, at this point we just have to assume that the lore behind the Weeping Angels is that the lore behind the Weeping Angels is always different.
Hmm.
That is the
Just
actual
like the
history.
Doctor. Just like the Doctor. Just it's
A
timey
little
wimey.
bit. Yeah. And
What I remember, I was talking with 50 a little bit about this episode, and we were
mhm,
just going back just to the Sea Devils, and I was like, it looks like they spend like all this money, and like they have the gills are moving, like they're doing so much work and stuff like that, and then the mouths don't move, and like for me, it looked you know, like one of those broken down Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
mm,
from the 90s or something. But he's like, I think, and he just said that's a nod, I think, to when they originally did it, because in the original run, because it was they were made for like $45 or whatever it was, they didn't move
okay,
in that
yeah.
either. So I think they just kept that as the lore. Their mouths don't move, and they speak, I guess, in a what do you call it, like ESP or something like that. So, uh,
There was a little voice box
oh, I didn't even notice that.
when the captain guy is on the ship talking to all the other fish people, but he's talking in English for some odd reason.
Right.
There's a little voice box thing that's lighting up blue whenever he speaks.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, I thought at some point, yes, I did think their mouth should have opened, even if it wasn't to speak, because they have that like technology and everything. They wouldn't need to,
Yeah.
but like when like hit by something, their mouths definitely should have opened. It was a little strange that they were always closed
They're
that way.
pretty. They're pretty
But yeah,
rigid.
if that's a nod to the original, that is great as well. I appreciate that.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I thought like everything kind of fit. I thought the flying ship was cool. I
I
thought
really like the boat.
like
I really like that boat.
yeah, and also like I liked the little green touches to it. So
Mm.
like you this honestly could have been like the Flying Dutchman. It could have been the like basis for every lore of ghost ship in the sky like ever.
Right.
And
Yeah, for sure.
I just really liked that like little little nod to different uh I want to say mythologies that humans come up with,
Hmm.
and the melding of them, as
What do you
well
mean?
as
Wait, wait, wait,
yeah,
wait, 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 wait. Wait. Mythology? The Flying Dutchman is real. You son of a bitch.
I'm sorry, I'm
How dare
sorry.
you say that on the Easter Bunny's birthday? We're right close to it.
Oh, damn, the Easter Bunny's birthday.
Hmm. I'm pretty sure that's
I
how it works.
something about that. Something about that was recent. um, yeah, and so we've got one more episode with Jodie and with Chris Chibnall, and we still don't know who the next Doctor is going to be. I've seen many different rumors. I do not know how to gauge their credibility at all.
Right.
So fun stuff. But
Yeah. The biggest one for me was everyone talking about having Hugh Grant as the next Doctor, and
I
that was a big one that was going around for a couple of weeks until he finally
mm,
said, "No, I'm not going to be the next Doctor." Which you could take or leave it now these days. Who knows? I don't know why people always have to be so hush hush about everything, but I think it's good. Yeah, we should get young 50 onto the show, and we'll just have uh, a little conversation with him about where he thinks this is going to go, because he's really the expert on this. We're just a couple of
Yeah,
schlubs.
yeah, definitely. Either if we find any more substantial rumors, we'll have him come on and talk about the possibilities,
Guys,
and we'll.
spoiler alert, quick spoiler alert. I'm going to be the doctor.
You're gonna be the doctor.
What do you think about that?
Interesting.
It'll be pretty fucking good. Yeah,
Yeah, they.
be the first one with an R rating.
That would be hilarious. There is also, for the like diehard fans of the Doctor Who universe, there's a damn. I don't know if I'm supposed to call it a radio play or a podcast or something or other. There is an audio um, creation that they are doing that takes place in the Doctor Who universe. They have all sorts of these
Hmm.
radio plays and random offshoot medias for basically like Star Wars. For every extended Star Wars canon media, there are 4 or 5 Doctor Who ones. I could probably guarantee. uh, and this one is taking place within the last season of Doctor Who, and will actually have Jodie Whittaker like pop on random guest appearances.
Hmm.
It's about some people that are tangentially related to the Doctor's adventures, but they do come across her path at one point. So that does sound really fun.
Does that tie? Do
I
you think that could tie into the end of the Sea Devils episode? When you get to see like coming up or whatever, and you get to see
It's
like little shits or whatever, you're
possible.
getting to see, yeah, you're seeing bits of companions, but not like the most known companions.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
just yeah.
possible.
Mhm.
I cannot fully remember. I read the article a week or two ago, and I watched the episode earlier today. So I don't actually like. I can't remember if I did see the people who are attributed to those names because I read them offhand. But what I can remember is that it is some characters that run into the Doctor and then also, I guess, have a podcast.
Right.
And
God
so
damn it.
they're and
Also, it's like
I
the podcast is true. Like, oh, okay, oh, okay, 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 okay. Okay. So like it isn't a couple of people or whatever and stuff like that. It's from the point of view of the transcendental associates and stuff like that.
yeah, like
Oh, okay.
from what I understood, it is a an in universe podcast. Like it's
Oh, oh, okay.
yeah,
Oh, all
yeah.
right. Very good. Okay, very good.
So that about sums up our news and our goodbyes to both Bob Odenkirk, or all three: Bob Odenkirk, Jodie Whittaker, and Chris Chibnall. And a very, very soon hello to Russell T Davies and the newest era of new Doctor Who. Um,
Excited.
I I cannot wait. There was recently a here's one last bit on that.
Oh boy.
There was recently a reporter talking to Chibnall, and he was saying he assumes that the incoming team is going to ignore a lot of the new things that he put in,
Hmm.
uh, including the aforementioned spoiler that the Doctor is not from this universe, and also many other things that Chibnall did throughout his run. He does not expect everybody to continue, but I very much disagree. I think if anything, Russell T Davies is the one person who will respect the story that was being told
Yeah.
and will both, yeah, he's going to expound upon it rather than try and push it under the rug, so to speak. And I can't wait to see what he does.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great having him back.
Okay, so as we get into what are we watching,
Mm-hmm.
we've got, oh yes, I was watching this just before the episode here,
Uh-oh.
and man, this was an interesting episode of Moon Knight.
Mm.
Episode 3, non-spoiler, we're supposed to talk about.
Non-spoiler.
Yes,
It happens
we,
at night. Usually,
okay,
by the time you go to bed,
non-spoiler because it did
there's
happen
the
at the end
moon.
of episode 2.
Okay.
Also, does it happen at night?
I just said the moon does. The moon comes out at night. That's
Part
not a
of it
huge
happens at
spoiler.
night.
Oh, that's true.
Part of it happens at night, and the moon does come out. But watch the episode to find out what the hell any of that means. um, yeah, so we do end up in Egypt at the end of episode 2.
Hmm.
Very interesting. Small spoiler that they use Middle Eastern music during the Marvel card, and I thought that was interesting. I
It was a nice
do very
touch.
much hope that they, you know, got their Middle Eastern creators to do it and didn't just kind of slap it together.
I would
Um,
imagine they would have.
I
I would hope.
assume, but I don't
Yeah.
want to just claim that they did. um, this is Disney,
Yeah. I was gonna
after
say.
all.
Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. I get what you're
Pause,
saying,
pause,
and
pause.
you're 100% right. But let's take a deep breath and look around
Okay, okay,
because
okay.
things
Whew,
can
whew.
happen to us.
Yeah. But yeah, we meet a ton of new characters in this episode, many of whom are not even
Mm.
introduced, uh, which again alludes to what I was saying about how I kind of feel like this show definitely could have been more episodes. There was definitely some other stories to tell here because there were like I cannot remember how many people were in that room in the pyramid, but like
Right.
we spoke to 3 of them. Like 3 of them were introduced out of the entire group, and yeah, hoping that more of those come into play later on in the last few episodes. I wish I had looked that up prior to the show to remember
I wish
how
there was
many
more just about
episodes.
those people that in that little meeting, in that little pyramid meeting. I wish there was a show about them first, like have an episode or have an episode just about what's happening with them
Okay, but
first.
they tried that. People weren't a fan of the Eternals.
Oh my God, you're right. I guess you're absolutely right.
But yeah, it kind of is. It is giving me a lot of Eternals vibes,
Yeah.
and I do kind of hope there's a small little drop to any of those characters at some point. Just like the
I
naming of one would be fun.
Moon Knight would be in the same like well everything's in the like the MC universe, but like in the same kind of storytelling arc as Eternals, I would have guessed, right? Because doesn't like the Black Knight have something to do with Moon Knight and Blade and all these kind of other
Yeah,
shadowy
sort
people
of.
there?
And
Anyone with a
in
knife or a sword or something like that?
okay, this gets complicated literally depending on who's writing it and who's running Marvel at the time and a bunch of other things. But there's sort of like a power level structure to the super cosmic forces.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like the Celestials on top, that they're the big bad from Eternals. Then
Right.
underneath
I know those guys.
The Celestials did a bunch of experimenting. They seem to have created the Eternals and possibly the Olympian and Norse gods, who
Okay.
all of those pantheons just exist as actual beings somewhere in the Marvel universe.
Sure.
Uh,
I remember
then
Hercules. He was an Avenger.
the Eternals are on approximately or that equal level. Then the Eternals do some experiments
I
on some
remember that
other
movie.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe and then you start working down that chain, and then eventually the Kree do some experiments on some humans, which makes the Inhumans, which eventually somehow ties back to the Eternals, but I cannot remember how that happens. um,
Is this how we get
and
X-Men through these fucking
maybe
guys? Or what?
no, actually, the X gene is something completely different from that. Which may or may not come from the gods, but it does not come from the celestial and eternal side. Let's go with
Okay.
that.
Sure. I have
Um,
no idea.
yeah,
No idea what's
there
going on.
there are so many different versions and different levels, and basically we should wait for Thor, because that might actually explain some more of it. We're definitely going to see Zeus, and so he might be able to explain. And that is how we tie back to what we were talking about, because these are the people on the level of the gods we're dealing with.
Right.
We're
Yes.
dealing with, and they're somewhere between Odin slash Thor and the Eternals that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
I would say these gods seem to be slightly more powerful than at least Thor started out, and
But pretty lazy.
definitely,
Like on a whole, I would say
yeah.
kind of lazy. They always keep getting other people to do their shit for them.
I mean, other than Khonshu does do some crazy god shit,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I do think that was really cool. Uh,
Ooh,
the
what the?
that is one thing, is every time he uses some weird god powers, that is very fun.
I like that
Um,
part. I thought that was rad.
I
I thought
and
it was rad that everybody else was just like, yeah, we see this. Like, what the? Yeah, that everybody else
yeah,
gets to see it. It wasn't like just imagined or something like that, or just going on just for him. It was like
yeah,
everybody's seeing this
or just
happen.
like putting up an illusion, or like an
Yeah,
image or something, like a
or
projection. Yeah,
getting people to forget it as soon as they see it, and all this other stuff. They
that
all see
that
it.
that was really fun.
Yeah,
And yeah, I do like that. One, it is tangible and does have an effect on the outside world when the gods use this magic, which explains some of their reasoning in this third episode. But what I do really love is that he fucking does it anyway, because it's needed in the moment, and that's great too.
have you figured out who that voice reminds you of yet? Because I think I have an idea. I know it can't be the same one or whatever, but for some reason that voice reminds me of Optimus Prime all the time. So when I hear
Oh my
Khonshu
god.
speak, that's what I keep thinking of. Is like he's about to tell him to roll out.
That is really funny, actually. I wish I had put that together, but it does
Yeah,
kind of sound like him.
yeah. It just doesn't sound like you know. I know exactly what an Egyptian god would sound like. It just to me it doesn't sound like what I would imagine 6,000-year-old or 7,000-year-old Egyptian all powerful god would sound like. It just
Hmm.
sound like he's gonna tell Bumblebee that the Starscream's coming.
What he has done, oh man, he's done a lot.
Oh boy.
His Wikipedia page has a whole awards and honors like subsection.
Wow.
Yeah, working since 1971.
Jeez.
Yeah. Sadly,
Just
he
as
was not
just as
Optimus Prime.
just as
I knew he
Conchu. Just
wasn't,
as
but
Conchu. Yeah. No, no, no. I did not think I knew for a fact that it wasn't Optimus Prime, but it just sounds like him. So that's just
yeah,
what's in my head is that
it does quite a lot.
Optimus Prime voice. But whatever.
Yeah, but
What other
I
like
did just see him
he's
on.
like a cartoon actor? Like is that what he kind of like voiceover cartoons and stuff like that?
He does a lot of voice, but he does also do on-screen work. He does a lot of narrator things.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, well, yeah, I could see the narration for sure.
and yeah, just a million different. Geez, Lady and the Tramp, How to Train Your Dragon.
That's got to be like a remake of Lady and the Tramp, right? Is that like
Yes, yes.
okay? It's like
The
you said
Grand
1971. I'm
Budapest
pretty sure the
Hotel.
other one was in the. Oh, I like that movie.
Just so many million different things. That's
Oh boy.
incredible.
Hmm.
Um, so what
Hmm.
else do we got? I'm sorry, I fell down a rabbit hole a little bit
Oh
of random Moon Knight voice actor
well, I guess
filmography.
to not get too much more spoilery about this and have the you know Donald Duck come slash our fucking tires or something like that. I will say that it was an enjoyable episode. I really did enjoy the fight scenes are great in this show, but it
Mm.
can get for an old guy like me, it can get a little confusing there for a little bit. Not as much Steven in this one, which I was very happy about because I didn't have to hear the voice very often. Uh, yeah, but this might be is this halfway through the series already? Just 3 episodes in.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have, but then I have no idea where this is going. So they could either
Mhm.
be moving at breakneck pace or taking their sweet time. So yeah, so that makes tuning in to the show every week pretty fun. It'll be back on tomorrow. I guess it's on Wednesdays, right? Wednesday, is it Wednesday midnight or something like that? Well, hopefully we'll watch it a little closer to the time we do this show instead of watching it the first chance I got last week because I was bored and by myself. Uh,
Holy shit.
oh,
Okay.
oh my God, what has
Yes.
happened?
I'm getting into my notes for the next piece, and wow, this is incredible.
Oh boy,
Because
it's Optimus Prime.
um, yes, it is. No, it's Roxroy Prime, which does need to get us into yes. Oh wow.
Hmm.
Shall we talk about Survivor a little bit?
Yeah, sure. 2 hours.
Um,
2 hours. This one took.
yes, I have not seen this episode because they don't actually go on to Paramount Plus right away. I believe it either goes up today or maybe tomorrow even. It might be day of the new episode.
Okay.
Uh, and yeah, I ran into this problem when I had a week off with COVID and tried to catch up on all of the episodes and then couldn't. But wow, we have an hourglass, we
We do.
have
This is
an
something that,
immunity, we have a
yes,
merge.
eventually.
Yeah, this is a big episode.
It was a big episode. It was 2 hours. Only one person goes home. They did this last year, and one of the things with filming seasons uh, 41 and 42 so close together is that the cast of 42 has no idea what happened in 41, so they can use a bunch of the same ideas.
Mm,
So in the last season in 41, there was a merge sort of competition where what happens is the tribes, there's 12 people. The tribe gets split into two groups of five, and two people have to sit out. Uh, those of the two separate tribes or whatever, the two separate groups, each then run a competition. The winners get a big feast and immunity, and they get to pick one of the two people that got left off to join them. And
Right.
they'll have, it's like they won the thing too. They get the food, they get the immunity, they get blah blah blah. So what happens conversely is everyone on that other team is now in jeopardy of going home. None of them are safe, and the
Hmm.
other person has to go to basically an exile island for 2 days by him. Like it's just himself for 2 days. He has to fend for himself, make shelter, fire, eat, whatever. You're on your own. Um, During those 2 days, Jeff comes down, as a with an hourglass, and he says to him that with this, you were told you were going to get a special power when you got out here, which they were told that this could happen. And
Hmm.
so what happens is he's told, like, if you choose, you can go back to the camp, and nothing will change. Be up for you'll be up for to go home. So will everybody else that didn't win. But if you break this thing, you're safe. They're all safe. And the people that won were feeling fat and good about themselves. They're all in jeopardy of going home.
Hmm.
So last year, the winner of the entire thing did just that, busted the hourglass, changed the fate of the game, and uh, went on to win. Now this year, Roxroy was the guy who was sent out. Rocks, yeah, bust the. What else are you gonna do? It's like, oh, I can spend 2 days out here by myself. These six people didn't want me there. It's like I should reward them by not putting them in jeopardy. Nah, screw that. Of course, he
Hmm.
gets smashed as a thing, and they're all up to get voted out. Um, and actually, people like the people that were there actually treated Roxwell pretty good about this. I was quite surprised. Like, he didn't even have to do anything, and he's in an 8-man alliance. Like,
Hmm.
by not even being there, and considering some of the edits this guy got, I thought I was in big trouble by picking him with my second pick, even though he should win.
I
Go
I
ahead.
guess, yeah, he got an advantage of just not being around for a while, and everyone forgot how annoying he was.
Usually the way these things work, well, you should know, like when you are out of the picture for any period of time at all, usually that
Yeah.
just makes it so easy to get rid of you. Like, there's so many other bonds, especially because you're meeting all the other tribe mates for the first time, like all your other tribe mates for the first time. Except for with these new era of Survivor, where they keep throwing 3 or 4 people from other tribes out to go on an adventure together for a day, and I make and give them 15,000 advantages. It's bananas, but uh, yeah. So and especially with people, there was people on his tribe that were getting sick of how Roxroy was acting. That's like for sure it was a death knell for Rox. But it
Yeah.
looks like he's landed himself in a good spot, and he's got, like, if that Jonathan is on his team, like he's in as part of his alliance, that he's got the biggest shield in the entire game in front of him. This is
Yeah.
incredible, and how they didn't go after Jonathan is fucking nuts. These people are bananas. That guy can win everything. And, like, you had a shot. You had one shot at getting him, and he wouldn't even have made the jury. You wouldn't have to. You wouldn't have had to see him again, because the person
Mm,
that went home today was the last person not to make the jury. So
right, right.
you would never have
To
had to
be
see him again.
fair, to be fair, I do think he will be a fair member of the jury. but to be balanced, I think nobody will have a problem voting him as the sole survivor.
Nope,
Like,
no one. Yeah,
um,
everybody loves this guy. They love him.
yeah, in in their own ways, like everybody loves him for different reasons, and he is just a super nice guy. So I think if he does end up in that final vote, he wins. And
One
so
hundred percent.
someone needs to eliminate him. But
I think
also,
I think if he makes it into that final thing, not only does he win the money, I think Jeff Probst himself writes him out a check for like $900. It's like, you know what, buddy?
he's
Here you go, just for me.
no, he's just gonna host
Yeah.
Survivor 43.
They fire half their staff. They just put everything on this guy's back and just tell him to swim to the next fucking country.
And yeah, so I see by the end of it, literally surprised. It helps that they both have immunity in this episode,
Hmm.
but both Chanel and Tori surviving is just a miracle.
It's yeah. Uh,
Uh, and I
Chanel,
haven't
my
watched
number
the
one pick.
episode.
Yep.
I haven't watched the episode, but it does start to look like Hai is really playing the different strategies, and I want to see it all fall apart for him
I
eventually.
I think it will. I think you get to a point where you're just working too hard. And
Yeah,
now that everybody is there and stuff like that, you see this
like
guy just going.
Swati
He
and
just and he
Tori.
also right. Hai does not look like he's having a good time at all. It doesn't look like he's friendly. It just looks like
Hmm.
he's he's dour and he has a chip on his shoulder over that first one where he went to rocks or whatever, right? When
Yeah.
yeah. So I think yeah, I don't think that chip ever left, and that's going to be a big problem for him. But I also thought that Jonathan would have been one of the first boots out because everybody would be terrified of him. And fuck me, am I ever wrong about that? Holy shit. Oh well. Hopefully, maybe he'll get Medivac. That's not going to be like the only way now. That's the only way he's not going to win is he gets Medivac out of there.
Right.
Like someone better poison this fucking guy. Come on, unbelievable. You
I
guys.
mean, look, if he lasts long enough, well, no, because he keeps winning all the challenges, so he's
Yeah,
eating. But
he'll win all. He'll win all of
yeah,
them.
I
That's
was gonna say,
crazy.
you just gotta starve him out. Like he's got so much body mass that eventually he will start starving before you.
Yes, that's exactly it. How is this guy doing so well? He should be
Because
the
he's winning
hungriest.
all the challenges.
At one
So
time,
he gets to eat every night.
he was talking about his typical breakfast, and it starts with 18 eggs. 18 eggs.
Jesus. That
Grit,
is that
18
is too
eggs,
many.
grits, and like three things of cheese or something like that. You're
That
kidding. You're kidding me.
yeah, that's insanity.
Protein and fat. That's all he eats.
So,
Unbelievable.
who do we have who goes home? Not
Well,
surprised, actually. If you can't, I mean,
so I lost my
surprised it's
last
not
pick.
Jonathan.
Yeah, I've lost my last
Surprised
pick.
it.
I've lost my second last pick now. Two picks left for me. It was looking so well, and yeah, it's not going great. Not
I've
going great for me. I do have rocks, so who knows? If history repeats itself, I'm in a good spot. But I
mm,
also have Chanel, so not great. Not looking too great. Who do you have left? You
I
have all your picks
have
left, right?
no. Swati went home,
Oh yeah, Swathi went home. Yep.
so I have Mike. I
Yeah.
have
Also
um.
surprising how well he's doing.
Yeah, I I still don't think it's surprising. I picked Mike for a very specific reason, also knowing nothing,
Right.
but I thought a number of different. He had a number of different factors I was looking for. Like he has a unique enough story, and he's also he's unique to the viewers and unique to the tribe itself because
Hmm.
he's the oldest one in this season I picked the oldest and the youngest, kind of basing this strategy on like it's always fun to have that interesting winner, right?
Sure.
And you know, they can fudge these ages by a couple of years. Like
Wow.
if
Wow.
if he's if he's 1 year or a month younger than the oldest contestant on this season, no, we're gonna bump your age up a couple years because in 13 weeks you're gonna win this whole thing, and we want to say the oldest person, not the second oldest by a month.
Right.
Like they want to tell a story. So that's why I picked the oldest and the youngest for other reasons. And yeah, I just think the retired firefighter that's uh, even at his age, I didn't take his age as a disadvantage because I knew what he did for a living.
Right.
And then I was just like, I got my faith in him.
Hmm.
And I can't even remember who my third person still in
Ah.
is, and I picked her first. I can tell you that much.
Oh boy.
But we do have Lydia going home this week. Yes,
Yep.
I I am surprised she was still around in some ways because it
Well,
seemed like every time she was talking with her tribe mates, she was getting in an argument with someone.
if High hadn't done all he did to save her, that first after the first time that tribe went up there, I wonder what the
Mm,
story of this whole season would be. It would be, I think it would be much different, but yeah, I think she's been running on borrowed time ever since that episode. So, uh, and it's just another case of someone who's just working too hard, just trying to work too hard, and then it can get annoying. So, and as soon as you screw up something with that, and it sounds like you can flip on somebody in your own team or whatever, then you're done. You have to keep it
yeah,
rock solid until the numbers
rocks
start
roar
dwindling.
solid.
Bang, bang, bang.
uh,
Future champ, the future champ.
I cannot see that happening, but if it does, kudos.
Oh shit, that would be
he'd,
yeah. I
he'd
would
be
not
the
be.
most surprising winner, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
no,
yeah.
okay, him or Tori. And
That would
I've
be shocking. That would be absolutely shocking.
she'd have to
That would
like
be. Yeah.
yeah, she'd have to literally blindside someone in the most cutthroat way imaginable because she's not getting the likable vote.
No. No. She's gonna have to like every time that every time she goes up for, or everyone says okay it's going to be her, she's going to have to win immunity every single time for her to win,
Yeah.
like from now, like she can't not lose uh an immunity necklace, and she didn't this week, so
Yeah, or
she's
she
already 1 to
just
0.
yeah.
Only 10 more to
And
go.
in every other episode she has to like pull those frickin' CIA psyops on everybody to vote out a person who isn't
Plus,
her. Like
also, like the orphanage in the neighboring village is going to have to be on fire, and she's going to have to swim over there, save all the children by herself, then swim back, and yeah, even then still win immunity, and then she has a chance to win.
and also she'll have to like prove it was one of the other contestants who set the fire, and then they might be voted instead of
Mike,
her.
it was Mike. He knew
It
how to
was
do
Mike.
it. This is why he's here. It's like I was a firefighter. Wink. Fire starter. That's what he's all about. He's an
Yeah, yeah.
arsonist. God damn it, I knew
Firefighter,
it all
more like
along.
fire lighter.
How
Uh,
dare you? How dare you? That guy put in a bunch of good years of service.
all right, so we've got one more topic in the what are we watching,
Oh boy.
and we've got about 15 minutes before we're gonna have to drop some plugs and get on out of here.
Sure.
So we'll have to speed through it a little bit.
Mm,
That was a bit of a pun.
I don't like it at
I know.
all.
I know. Well,
Not
interestingly
one bit.
enough, for once, the bad guy doesn't have super speed, but
What?
also the bad guy kind of has super speed.
Okay.
Um, oh man, the bad guy in this season of The Flash seems to be a living fire, which may or may not be Firestorm, but who knows? We'll
Isn't
we'll figure
Firestorm
that out in a minute.
Firestorm is canon in that universe, right? Firestorm is in
That
that
makes
other
it
thing.
even more confusing. I have a whole thing about that because
Uh-oh.
I'm I'm not fully caught up on Legends. I
Right.
have to point that out. But
Okay, go
I'm
on.
not sure
Because I
if
just remember something else.
yeah, I'm also not sure if the Flash producers are fully caught up on Legends because
Uh-oh.
the
If
last
they
time we left off Nora Dark, she was maybe sort of married to Ray and Ray Palmer, the Atom.
mm-hmm.
Um, and she was kind of a fairy godmother. I can't remember if she stopped being a fairy godmother or not. Uh, it's a whole like genie thing. You got to be released, things like that.
Oh shit. All
But
right.
at one point, she picks up a fairy godmother's wand and becomes a fairy godmother to take the magic away from another one that's trying to kill everybody. Basically. um, this
Okay.
fairy godmother was released from hell in the season where the legends released all of the demon souls from hell. Um, Constantine was involved. Um, honestly, The Legends of Tomorrow is a fucking amazing show that makes no sense at all. Um, the the absolute worst part of that show is the first like 8 episodes where they're still trying to be serious, and then
Okay.
they cut that shit out after 8 episodes. Then finished that first season killing off their absolutely way too serious villain in Vandal Savage. And then in season 2, they immediately start
Vandal
just.
Savage is the time traveler, right? Is that who Vandal Savage is?
Vandal Savage is the immortal guy.
Okay, right,
Rip
right.
Hunter is the time traveler.
Mm-hmm.
Rip Hunter is actually one of the bad guys in the second season for a little while.
Okay.
When literally season 2 starts up and they're like, okay, our super serious villain not gonna do anything. What we're doing is the one of the silliest villain team ups ever, the Legion of Doom, and we're gonna get our Reverse Flash, our and these are all the Arrowverse ones, but we've got Eobard Thawne's Reverse Flash, and it's the Thawne
Do they have
one, not
Gorilla
the
Grodd?
Wells one.
Do they have Gorilla
Uh,
Grodd?
they do. They recruit Gorilla Grodd in an episode.
Uh, okay, your show that you want to talk about Flash, that was the thing that I went, oh
Yeah,
fuck, we actually did Gorilla Grodd. I was pretty impressed with that.
for mine it was King Shark. I
Oh
was really impressed with like both the way they did King Shark and that they bothered to in some
yeah,
ways like uh and then yeah, so also you get Malcolm Merlin, the Arrowverse Ra's al Ghul, and then you get Damien Dark, who is kind of his successor, uh, also League of Assassins, and also weird magician. uh, and from that point on, the Legends of Tomorrow become amazing.
okay.
But then they bring back Damien Dark eventually, and his daughter. She has a demon inside her. Um,
That happens a lot in
eventually,
DC Comics, it seems.
yes, and Damien actually put it there, and then
What the fuck?
helps. Yeah, he eventually helps the legends take it out, and basically, it's the demon that gave him his magic powers, I believe. And it's a demon that was trapped by all of the totem bearers, which are all connected to Vixen, and they also have an air totem bearer on the Legends for the longest time. And yeah, and then it's these like 5 tribes in Africa all fought this frickin' thing, and one of them betrayed all of the others and helped it. Rather than kill it, they had to imprison it because they didn't have like all 5 of the Power Rangers, right? This makes sense to everyone.
Nope.
Okay, yes, you're a little old for Power Rangers, but you know they had to combine Captain Planet. Captain Planet.
Yeah, do they combine though? I guess their powers combine or whatever.
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly,
sure, sure.
exactly.
The
They've got
worst,
to
by the way,
combine the
the worst
power,
one. He was the worst one.
and then yes, they actually combine
Wind,
their powers
fire. What was the other
eventually.
one? Earth. I don't know.
Yeah,
Earth.
it's wind, fire, earth, air, and heart in
Oh yeah, the
in
heart was
Captain Planet.
the
And
stupidest idiotic one.
in this one, they add time. No, not time. Death. Duh.
Jeez.
Because it's Sarah who's going to wield it, and then later it becomes Damien. But they save the daughter. And then Damien gets sort of erased from history
Okay.
until the Flash needs him, because Barry Allen does not have the same constraints with timelines that everybody else does. So I believe at one point he just runs into the past and saves Damien. He just like plucks Damien out of the timeline. It's like, I'm gonna need your help for a bit. And he does this a few times as these seasons progress, because like eventually the Flash is so powerful that like a Damien Dark is not super villain to him anymore. Again, he can travel through time and shoot lightning bolts from a standstill. He doesn't even need to run around in circles anymore. Like, uh,
He can shoot
he,
lightning bolts now.
yes, he can go invisible.
Well, I think
As
I've
well
seen
as
something
like,
like that before.
he does like the vibrations, and he
Right.
like walks through walls and stuff early on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
now in different episodes, he literally just like clicks, and he vibrates his atoms so quickly that he just disappears. He essentially turns into a gas. And yeah, so I believe he vibrates them quick enough that light's able to phase through them, essentially, which gives
Whoa.
the illusion of him being invisible. He's not actually invisible. He's still there.
You just can't see him.
Uh,
He's not invisible.
exactly.
You just can't see him, and you see right through him.
And yeah, he pops away and
So could you throw
does all
like
sorts of
paint on
things.
him? If you throw paint on him, would you still see him?
uh no, I believe like the paint would just like drip through all of the spaces between the atom. Like you'd see it for a little bit, but then it would all like shimmer through and phase through him, and it would just be a paint splotch on the floor.
No boy.
Yeah. And yeah,
I'd
so
rather. I'd like to try and throw paint on him one time. It's like, oh, take this. Maybe that's his Achilles heel.
and
Paint.
the one thing that I have liked about like the more recent seasons of The Flash, once we get away from all of like every single villain being a speedster,
Speedster. Which is why I
um,
stopped watching it.
yeah,
Speedster.
right around when did you stop?
I
Like
think
which speedster was it? Because it's Thawne, then Zoom, then Thawne again,
right.
then I can't even remember what season 4 was. And then season 5 was Savitar.
Right. I saw Savitar. So maybe I was season 6. I stopped watching it. Maybe.
Okay. And so you know like Savitar's identity and everything.
Wasn't it him?
Yes,
Is
it
that
was
who?
him.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
It's
I knew that one. Yeah.
it's a weird time paradox because it's a time revenant that he creates to fight Savitar, and then they lose to Savitar, and then this one basically uh, is left for dead, and then he goes crazy and becomes Savitar. But by
Mm-hmm.
the end of it, Barry Allen defeats Savitar by creating a Time Revenant, and then the Time Revenant does the Barry Allen thing, and it sacrifices itself to make sure that he defeats him. And I'm just like, wait a minute. If Barry Allen's Time Revenant was always going to act like Barry Allen, why did one stop it? But that I don't question that too much because they got away from it.
I think those guys writing the Flash dipped into the guys of the product from the Breaking
Yeah,
Bad guys. I can tell you that they're just
honestly,
busy in a
like
van,
I
puffing crystal meth, and then it's like, okay, let's do Flash, let's do Flash episodes. Okay, who's the bad guy? He is. When? Whenever.
and they have
Perfect.
done this. Like they have had Barry Allen be like an evil version of himself, and
Hmm.
different versions of him have gone down that route before in comics and things. But I would have actually made a slight change to the whole thing, and I would have actually made that when they finally introduced who Savitar was and why he had to wear the suit and everything, was like they literally broke Wally's back earlier that season.
Right.
Why not other than for that reason? Like, put him in the big power suit because he can't walk, but he still has that super speed gene. He still has that addiction that everybody has to the speed force. And they they were essentially doing that with Wally the whole time when he's constantly putting himself into these more and more reckless things because he even once he finds his super speed, he still has that addiction to speed that made him a street racer in the first place. The
Is
addiction to danger.
is he still considered Kid Flash, or does he have his own new name?
He actually
Is he
is
even on the
not.
show?
No, he's not.
No, he was
He
leaving the
he
show, I
pops in
think, when
every
it was.
now and
Yeah,
then. He was on Legends for a little bit in that season I was talking about with all the totems.
yeah.
Wally, I don't think he actually wields a totem, but he does do a lot of cool shit. And
Hmm.
having a speedster around really helps the Legends for a while. And they do actually crack a few jokes about that too, of how they've fought their own fair share of speedsters at that point, mostly Eobarthon, but a few others.
Hmm.
And they make a couple jokes about finally having one on the team for themselves and how easy it makes it. And uh, but yeah, um, he goes and becomes a monk for a little while, and because again, it's his whole connection to the Speed Force is different from Barry's.
Yeah.
He wasn't chosen in the exact same way, and he does need to kind of find himself outside of being Kid Flash and all of that. So he does go, I believe, to Tibet for a while, and he comes back, and I honestly cannot remember him suiting up on the Flash again.
Okay.
And then he does suit up on Legends a few times, but they don't really call him Kid Flash at all. And then we haven't really seen him suit up, and he has been around a few times on the Flash in little like off bits. But we've since introduced two of Barry Allen's children who are also speedsters, so it's hard to like it's hard to bring Kid Flash when you have the Flash's kids around, you know? This is a confusing show. Um,
Yeah.
and the one thing I've really appreciated recently is they have started not doing 24 episodes about the exact same storyline.
Well, that
They've
helped.
started, yes. Um, while I still believe that this show would have been better going to a 13 episode season run, years ago, Legends actually shortened their seasons or have had shorter seasons, and they're one of the more successful Arrowverse shows in
Are they?
that regard. Like pacing wise and
Oh,
everything,
okay.
yes. I know a lot of people who like I know people who only watch The Legends of Tomorrow, and that makes no sense because they're all the B and C characters from multiple other shows that no, like, those people aren't following anymore. And
Right.
it's and like, I was not a fan of Arrow, but I really like Sarah Lance on Legends. And I have watched all 8 seasons of The Flash so far, but I also understand and agree in a lot of cases where people have issues with the show. And yet, whenever one of their off characters gets to join the Legends, I'm super stoked for that. And yeah, I do find it's one of the better, like, companion pieces to that universe for sure. And they treat villains so well. Honestly, they are really great in their storytelling, and recently, I believe the Flash has learned from that and started to make every, like, I believe the last 3 seasons now have had a different villain for the first chunk of the season and the second chunk of the season.
Okay.
Uh, last year, oh man, there was the blood guy, and then there was the other guy, and
Blood
I
guy.
cannot. Yeah,
Like a
the blood guy
vampire?
was actually really awesome. Um, no, he he actually kind of mutated himself trying to create a cure for some disease that I believe his mom and then he has, uh, and it's killing him. And so he creates this cure for it, and he uses dark matter in the cure, and it turns him into a monster.
Gross.
And then, oh, it is pretty gross. Bloodsport, like, makes a bunch of zombies, and he basically, like, it's a living dark matter virus, but also it's super powerful and impervious to a lot of harm and disease. So it's like the super cure, but it's also a, like, hive mind parasitic zombie virus.
Sounds like a perfect cure to me.
Bloodsport's real fun.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, and I have found that, like, one, leaning in and taking those goofier villains has actually made the show more fun.
Hmm.
It still has all of those soap opera bits that I cannot blame anybody for not liking, but um, you know, I literally understand that it's silly and campy and don't care about that. I just
Sure.
watch for the fun times when the Flash throws a lightning bolt at a giant gorilla.
Oh
And
boy.
those parts make the rest of the story worth it, honestly. And some of the little soap opera stories, they, 1 out of 3 actually does hit. And so you deal with the other two for the fun action, and then you enjoy your one soap opera story every season and ignore the other 3 characters that you're
So
not
are
liking.
characters like Cisco and stuff like they're still on the show?
Cisco has left the show.
Okay.
Um, he he lost his powers and then recreated
Oh,
them with
physically.
tech. Then
Hmm.
did some other stuff. He has a girlfriend die, I believe, and
Oh boy.
then later, like, meets another one and kind of decides eventually that it is time to move on from Team Flash. And I believe he goes to work for Argus.
Okay.
And so Caitlin is still around. She's 2 people now.
Right, because she's also the bad guy or whatever, right?
Yeah, Killer Frost,
Killer
who
Frost. That's
later, yeah, who later has a change of faith, and also the original Killer Frost wasn't Katie. Um, the original Killer Frost is from season 2 of The Flash, and she's actually Earth 2's Katie, who
okay.
is fully Killer Frost and was brought over by Zoom. So the
Right.
original Killer Frost, the one that is a villain in most people's eyes, actually isn't the one that we know. And then like Katie's powers start to develop over season 2 and season 3, and then her Frost is treated as Killer Frost, and then does, live up to the name a little bit and does become a villain. And it's like, well, did she become a villain because she was treated like one, or vice versa? Blah blah blah. Eventually, she does come back around. She atones for her sins. She goes to prison, and then is let out on good behavior for saving Central City a bunch of times. But yeah,
That's all it
literally,
takes.
like, well, no, they were trying to save her. They were also trying to just like pop her out of prison, and she was just gonna hide at like Flash headquarters. And she makes the decision to like, no, I'm gonna like actually go and freaking pay for my crimes, even though
Yeah.
like not all of the crimes they're trying to pin on me are even mine, because again, the first Killer Frost, not even her,
Hmm.
looks exactly like her, has the exact same ice powers, literally not her. Which I feel like the Flash should be able to explain, since he rebooted the universe and now everything takes place in the Prime.
I think
But
maybe he probably started telling people, and then they just got so bored, like, whatever. Come on, buddy. Come on. We
right?
get it. We're like, yeah, we get it. She's a bad guy. Like, she's not. That's not her. That's not her. Listen, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
She's a
And then
bad guy.
she
Listen.
saves. They watch her save the city a few times, and they're just like, you know what? Fine. Like,
Yeah,
it
fine.
it it doesn't matter anymore. Just let her out.
Have it your
As
way,
long as like,
Flash.
if she goes villain again, you put her in prison, okay, Flash?
Hmm.
It's your problem now. And yeah, um, so this season they're fighting possibly a resurrected Ronnie, who is now just a living embodiment of the Firestorm Matrix. Maybe. Um, they've only sort of introduced that in the last few episodes.
And
So
that's Caitlyn's our
yes,
former
her
fiance.
her former fiance. Yeah.
Right. The from the original Firestorm or whatever bit.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
now there is currently no Firestorm in the universe because
That other
Martin,
doctor died, right? The
yes,
doctor
Martin
died.
dies eventually in Legends, and then
Right.
Jax retires from the Legends. Jax is Ronnie's replacement as
Hmm.
Firestorm. And then, yeah, that's actually a storyline on Flash, I believe, is to replace Martin's Matrix when Ronnie dies.
Oh.
And then they replace it. Might be, no, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's a Flash storyline. It's very hard to keep track of where which show some of these storylines happen on. Like
Just
Mia
zip
Queen
back in
just
time
showed
real
up
quick.
on,
Zip back in time real quick. Review the entire thing. Zip back and let us know.
yeah. And again, Mia Queen just showed up on Flash, and I'm just like, I literally don't know who Mia Queen is, because one, she's from the future, two, she's a Green Arrow, which is the show I don't watch, and three,
Oh.
her show got canceled, so I'm not gonna get to find out. So yeah, it's all up in the air.
Yeah.
The Arrowverse though is possibly on its last legs these days. Supergirl seems to be ending. Flash might have one more season in it.
Mm.
They could push it and give it the 10. Um, but
Now, what about
yeah,
the? Isn't the Superman and Lois? Is that part of the Arrowverse? Isn't that part? I heard
I'm
that people
I'm
really
not
like that
sure.
show as well.
I know, I believe our producer watches that show, but
Hmm.
I actually have not seen a bunch of Superman and Lois, so I cannot answer precisely. I
Right.
believe it actually takes place within the new multiverse, because
Oh, okay.
in one season, the Flash resets the universe, and now everything happens on Earth Prime. But in the other one, he resets the multiverse, and now there's a full new multiverse again. And like Titans happens in a different universe. Doom Patrol happens in a different universe. I believe Stargirl happens in a third universe. But now, Supergirl, who was originally from Earth 3, and all of the people from Earth 2 which got destroyed in a different crisis, most of the big crossover events destroy an entire universe. If
What a
not
bunch of bastards.
many of them. Yeah.
Holy shit.
And yeah, Barry just has to
So
fucking
you're
keep
saying,
resetting them.
so what you're saying is you're wearing the markings of who a person who may possibly, or more than possibly, be the greatest serial killer in the history of mankind?
Oh no. It's not Barry. It's the villains who show up who destroy the universes.
Oh boy.
Barry's only destroyed the universe once or twice, and most of the time it's an accident. He only did it once on purpose.
That's what, that's what I tried to tell the police that one time.
I know.
Listen, it was only
But
one universe and it was an accident.
yes, the deciding whether or not Barry is a hero or a villain is a topic that could be an entire episode, because he does do quite a lot of shit and does have the powers of a god.
Have
But
they just given up on him being a forensic detective as well?
no, actually, he still does CSI shit all the time. It is actually really hilarious. Um, and yeah, and he still uses his super speed to like spin test tubes really fast and things like that. And I do enjoy that every time I see it. Every time he like speed writes a whole chalkboard in 30 seconds, I'm like, this is the reason for super speed as a superpower. It is one of my favorite superpowers, honestly. That's that's why like even I feel the speedster fatigue in the Flash show, but every now and then I can get over it, and most of those times it's when Eobard Thawne shows up again. Uh, like, I don't need to see Zoom or Savitar or any of the multiple other speedster villains for a third or fourth time, but
Yeah.
anytime Reverse Flash shows up, I am welcome. And like yeah, I just really like I really like the guy who plays him, whose name is slipping through my fingers right now. Oh man, Tom Cavanaugh.
I was
There we
gonna
go.
say, is it the doctor there?
Yeah, yeah, the guy who plays
Canadian Tom
Wells
Cavanaugh.
and most of the Reverse Flash. Every now and then it's the Eobard Thawne version, but he's
Oh
great
right.
too. But
Yep.
yeah, Tom
Mo-
Cavanaugh is a treasure, and every one of his
most
versions.
best villains are Canadians. We'll just put it out there right now.
True, and most best
Hmm.
heroes, and that's why Austin Powers is the best movie ever. Plays the
That's
hero
right.
and the villain.
That's right.
All right, that's about it for us. Because if we're talking about movies, we're on the wrong topic again. We spent way too much time on the MCU, but worth it, because who
That was
knows
deep.
where
That was
Moon
the
Knight will go
arrow.
next.
We spread it out over both. Guys, we even killed it this week. We had MCU stuff and didn't even get turned off this week. And we had DC EU stuff. And Warner Brothers didn't care about turning us off this week. But I don't think we spoiled anything. So we kept talking about things that happened multiple seasons ago. And over multiple different properties they have, some of which don't exist anymore or may not be existing
Yeah,
for long.
I
Who
think the
knows?
only thing I said that happens in the actual season is like Mia Queen's return and the Black Flame villain, but I'm sure all of that shit's in the trailers.
Yeah,
Like
and the
if
dirty blood guy. Ugh, gross.
if you're one of those people who accidentally still watches television and therefore sees commercials, that is
Yeah,
actually one of my biggest problems. I don't know what TV is on because I don't see commercials for it anymore.
that's true. Yeah, you're right. I have no idea.
Let's not give the streaming services ideas though, okay? Like, no, we don't want commercials. That's not what I'm saying at all.
We're already
Do
paying
not.
for them.
right?
Already
I
paying for it. Bastards.
I will VPN to a country that doesn't have ads. All right. So on that note, where can everybody find us? We can be found around this YouTube channel. We can be found around our Facebook group and Twitter space at Northern Entertainment Group, and that's
That's
Group
right.
of the North on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and Northern Entertainment Group across all other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess just Facebook and YouTube.
Oh
Maybe,
boy, come on.
maybe there's one
That's
or
all of
two
them.
others,
That's
but
it.
we'll
That's
we'll
all
see
of
about
them.
them.
That's
Yeah.
all of it.
And personally, where can the people
Don't
find
forget
you,
it. Don't
Snark?
forget our OnlyFans account as well. Northern Entertainment Group on OnlyFans.
No,
Coming soon.
that's a cursed place. Nobody go there.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
All right. Yes. We can be found also at our personal handles. Mine is at Corrupted Canuck. You can find Snark at Snark Yeti, and
Yep.
you can find our guest producer for today, Ben Rayner, at, oh man, I hope it's just Ben_Rayner on Twitter.
He's a ghost.
But
He's a
also
ghost.
check out his YouTube channel, The Multiverse of Geekdom, where
Yep.
he puts out a lot of great videos based in the geek space, DCEU, Marvel, all of those things. We love Ben's content. We love having Ben around this channel, and
One
just
of us may even be appearing on his show this weekend.
ooh, excellent. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just second thanks to him for filling out for us. And basically, we hope Dave feels better next week, and
Yeah.
we'll be able to use a room that gets Wi-Fi
Well, we'll see.
instead of. I believe I last heard he was locked in a dungeon.
He's in a cellar somewhere.
Yeah.
I heard that he's got like an old sheet and a potato for the next couple weeks.
Aha, yes,
Yeah, the potato is both
as
his
they call
food
it, the
and
Irish
bathroom.
honeymoon.
Ah, it's nice.
A dungeon, a single blanket, and a potato.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah. They don't tell you what
Uh,
to do with that potato. This is just like have at it.
yeah,
You can do
yeah.
whatever you want.
So that'll be it for us for this week. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hope you join us next week and all of the following weeks. I swear, I keep promising that I will eventually talk about Halo, but I have not found the time to watch all of those episodes yet.
We'll see.
Really looking forward to it, and every week that it takes just gives me more episodes to watch, so I'm not
Oh,
complaining too
really?
much. So, for myself, for Snark, for Ben, and for the Northern Entertainment Group, we hope everybody has a really good night, and we will see you next week.